Office of the State Comptroller investigated the October 2021 police training conference in New Jersey. The conference, held by private New Jersey-based police training company Street Cop Training, taught questionable police tactics and contained offensive and discriminatory content. Glorified the use of violence, promoted a warrior approach to policing. This directly contradicts and undermines a decade of police reform efforts in New Jersey. But this is, again, this is a report from, to your point, this is from the comptroller. Worried about the budget, ultimately. But check some of this out here, yeah.
I love what the fuck I do for a living. There's nothing else I'm good at. I love violence, I love fighting, I love shooting, and I fucking love freedom. It wasn't that long ago that we were drinking out of the skulls of our enemies. Like, you know, like, I'm gonna fucking murder this guy, then I'm gonna take his head, then I'm gonna cut his head in half, and then I'm gonna boil his skull, and then I'm gonna drink out of that skull. Fucking rad, right?
I'm not sure the guy who's fucking recording you like, oh, I am not a citizen of the United States under fucking Act 12, 6. Shut the fuck up, right? About to get pepper sprayed and fucking tased. Windows broken out, motherfucker.
We don't like treating turds, right? You're like, fuck them. The ambulance can take care of them, right? And I had a problem treating, gangbangers and the people that were the pieces of shit of society, right? I had a great mentor that told me, well, Sean, guess what? That's a live tissue lab, bro. Anytime you can come to one of these shitbags, absolutely do the best you can. Absolutely, because what if he gets hurt, right? Or she gets hurt, or he gets hurt, then I can perform that flawlessly because now I've had some reps in. Everybody get that? Everybody with me on that?
So this is them saying Jersey has been trying to embrace improvements and that all of this directly undermines what the state has been.
In the South,
this is the guy I was talking about.
West, South, wherever. You don't believe me? Run from Georgia State Patrol. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay? Run from me. Somewhere along the chase becomes neither confirm or deny there's some videos out there with me doing just that.
New Jersey spends millions litigating allegations of excessive force. In 2022, one excessive force case alone cost Jersey $10 million. In addition to glorifying violence, multiple presenters use videos and memes describing the 75-year-old black man as a monkey coming out of Trenton.
This guy pulls into a gas station, pops his hood up, gets out of his car. But yeah, in Jersey, we don't pump our own gas. They do it. Other people do it. So kind of like right from the beginning, I was a little concerned about it.
That's your question. What's with the small rubber band? A little small rubber band. See that rubber band? Yeah. What's with the
facial expressions? That's all I want. This was just a couple of rubber bands and driving behavior. Look at his hand shaking.
Do you have an ID, sir? Okay, can I see an ID?
That's not an 18-year-old kid dressed like Jesus coming eastbound out of Trenton. It's a 75-year-old black man, a change in driving behavior, it came into a gas station, and I'm like, what the fuck? And you know what? Shame on me, because I look in there and I'm like, oh, got a couple small rubber bands. And all I'm doing is asking, hey, what's up with that?
They've been making referrals to the Attorney General of Internal Affairs to address unacceptable conduct. Multiple instructors throughout the conference trying to work around that is basically what they're talking about. So yeah, that was just a little glimpse of what they're up to. And I saw the joke about that dude being the evil clone, my evil clone. That's messed up. That's messed up.
It is. That's wrong.
That's messed up. That's wrong. But and there's worse. That dude goes on in other videos. There's several videos that are linked in the report that he's happy to be the token Iranian or whatever. And but can we play a little bit from Do Not Resist?
Yes. Okay. So anybody who follows me knows that when I started, I tweeted when I first started watching it, because I just, for the life of me, could not understand how how I ended up watching this movie, and how the movie was as old as it is, and basically confirms every single thing that we talk about with regard to police training and what they really think and what's really behind it. And I just wild. But yes, please do, because everybody else should be as grossed out as I was.
So there's just a little bit that's very similar to what we just saw. So again, a trigger warning. But again, the reason that this is probably my favorite that deals with this topic is because the filmmaker, again, and I went years ago, read a little bit about it. The filmmaker used his family is in the military and in the police. He's got all these connections, like a good white, and they thought that he's a good white boy going to do a good little documentary about the police. But all he ends up doing is just putting the camera on them. There's no narration. The only voices you hear are people who are being asked questions off camera in an interview style later in the thing, or who are out there in the streets protesting. But there's no, and you just get the police doing their thing. You get shots of them in Ferguson where you see people protesting, but then you see that he catches one of the white cops, I believe it was a woman, talking to somebody, and just sort of happily talking about how all of this overtime was going to get her vacation, have her a hooked up vacation or something like that. And you get you just see the abuses, and then they also show scenes from some of these kinds of conferences that they go to, and what they're said. So what I'm going to try to do is just play it on my phone, because so we can avoid any copyright issues, because I know we can't stream it just straight from Amazon, so it's not going to be the best quality, but it's only a couple of minutes here. And this is at one of those conferences where the police are being encouraged to understand their importance in the role in society, and especially given what Renee and Daruba have just said, this is particularly important. So I'm just going to go ahead and expand my screen. And
the man of the city. Heard of the mountain man, the frontiersman? Nobody talks about frontiersmen anymore. We still talk about policemen. You are to your city, your county, your state, but the frontiersman was the frontier. You fight violence. What do you fight it with? Superior violence. Righteous violence, eh? Violence is your tool. Violence is your enemy. Violence is a realm we operate in. You are men and women of violence. You must master it, or it will destroy you, yeah? Well, I've been on the road for 18 years. People know me. They trust me. I get information. I ask questions other people won't ask. Cop says, knock down, drag out, fight, cuff them and stuff them. Finally get home at the end of the shift. And cop says, gunfight, bad guys down. I'm alive. Finally get home at the end of the incident, and they all say, the best sex I've had in months. Both partners are very invested in some very intense sex. There's not a whole lot of perks that come with this job. You find one, relax, and enjoy it.
so that's just one that gives you, I think.
Yeah.
So you start thinking, for me, I start thinking about, Frank Wilderson's argument and the libidinal economy and all of this, and how killing probably mostly Black and brown people leads to heightened sexual experiences for the police and their partners. I'm thinking of that. There's that short story. I can never remember the name of it, but that Baldwin wrote years ago, from the perspective of a white man who performs a lynching. And it starts with his own sexual inadequacy in bed with his wife. Then he goes out and lynches a man and brings home body parts in a jar.
Right. And it's not, y'all know how much I talk to my mom. So I was telling her, it's not that I'm not watching this and I'm like, oh my God, this is what they think. I already know it's what they think, right? I already know it's what they're doing. I already know that's what's behind this whole thing. But to see it, right? to see it so blatantly laid out, right? There's another part where he talks about, and it's that same, and people be aware that the man who is in that presentation wrote the book that is required reading, right? Like this
Right.
isn't like a private like side thing, right? Like this is literally the person who wrote the book and does the presentations that they are expected to read and to follow out in the academy. So he talks about like getting off at the over, like the over high, you know, the over high, the whatever, the drive overs or whatever, and like looking out at your territory, right, and letting your cape fly in the wind, and like it is the bizarre.
No, that was what I got that. I was going to show that next.
Okay, good, because I was like, like it's to see it, right? It's the in your face of it, so that people can understand the depth of the depravity of this system.
We are at war, and you're at the front line trooper. And folks, I want you to understand something. When they come to murder the children, the individuals who tried to disarm our cops will be hunted down. And across the nation, they will be attacked. They will be spit on. They will be driven deep into their slimy little holes so they'll never come out again. In the very near future, the idiots trying to disarm our cops. Folks, there ain't nobody in Mexico right now complaining about militarization of police. You understand? There ain't nobody in Russia complaining about militarization of police. In the very near future, you will be vindicated. The bad news, the wolf is at the door. Very bad times are coming. Good news, you have job security. Because the world desperately needs what you have to give.
Oh, I think I missed it. Hold on. I think that was at the preview. That's how there was one more. My bad. That was
But
I know the part
like,
you're talking about.
Yeah, but even that, the glee, right? Like you always have a job because you know there's always people to kill.